Every single week, someone slides into my comments with the same message. I tried investing, I lost money, it's just not for me. And every time I read that, I want to stop everything and tell them the truth. You didn't fail at investing, you failed at gambling, and nobody told you the difference. Here's what I want you to understand right now. If you have $100 and a phone, I'm going to show you exactly how to become a part owner of Apple, Microsoft, Toyota, Nestle, and thousands of the most powerful companies on the planet, all at the same time while you sleep. No stock picking, no market timing, no crypto guy on TikTok screaming about the next moonshot. Just a simple, boring, devastatingly effective strategy that the smartest investors in the world have been quietly using for decades. Let me show you how it works. Before we get into it, I know what some of you are thinking. Why should I listen to you? Fair. Here's my answer. I'm not here to sell you a course. I'm not pushing stock tips. I'm not getting paid to recommend anything. What I'm giving you today is the exact conversation I wish someone had sat me down and had with me years ago, back when I was leaving money rotting in a savings account while inflation quietly ate it alive. Whether you're starting with $50 a month or $50,000, the strategy is identical, and the only regret you'll have is that you didn't start sooner. Let's get into it. Let me ask you one question. If I handed you a dartboard with 500 company names on it and told you to throw, what are the odds you hit the next Amazon, the next Apple? Pretty slim, right? That's stock picking. That's what the majority of retail investors do, and study after study shows that over a 20-year period, more than 90% of individual stock pickers underperform a basic index. Not because they're stupid, because the game is structurally stacked against them. So here's the contrarian move. Instead of throwing one dart at the board, what if you could own the entire board? That's index investing. You buy a tiny slice of every company in an index, and as the global economy grows, your wealth grows with it. No stress, no guessing, no checking your phone at 6 a.m. to see what the market did overnight. This is the foundation of what's called the three-fund portfolio. 3 funds, that's it. Here's exactly how they fit together. The first fund is a U.S. total market or S&P 500 index fund. This is the engine of the whole portfolio. The U.S. market is home to the most innovative, most profitable companies on earth. Apple, Google, Amazon, Nvidia. When you buy an S&P 500 index fund, you own a piece of all 500 of the largest U.S. companies simultaneously. Now here's a number you need to burn into your brain. Over the last 100 years, the S&P 500 has returned an average of roughly 10% per year. Not every year. Some years it drops hard. Some years it explodes upward. But averaged out over decades, 10%. Put $300 a month in from age 25. By retirement, you're looking at a number that genuinely changes your family's trajectory, not because you're a genius, because you started and you didn't stop. This fund typically makes up around 60% of the 3-fund portfolio. The second fund is an international index fund, and here's where a lot of investors make a critical mistake. They go all in on U.S. stocks and convince themselves they're diversified. But what happens if the U.S. goes through a lost decade, the way Japan did in the 1990s? Your entire portfolio bleeds for 10 years straight. The international fund fixes that. It covers thousands of companies across Europe, Asia, and emerging markets, Germany, Japan, South Korea, Brazil. When the U.S. slows down, these markets often carry the weight. Think of it this way. The U.S. fund is the race car. The international fund is the seatbelt. You hope you never need the seatbelt, but the day you do, you'll be extremely glad it's there. This fund typically makes up around 30% of the portfolio. The third fund is a bond index fund. And yes, I know, bonds sound boring. That's entirely the point. Bonds are loans you give to governments or large corporations. They pay you back with interest. They don't rocket upward like stocks, but they also don't crash 40% in a bear market. When stocks drop, and they will drop, that is a guarantee, bonds tend to hold steady or even rise. This smooths out the ride, and more importantly, it stops you from doing the single most wealth-destroying thing an investor can do, panic selling at the bottom. A simple rule of thumb for how much to hold. Your age equals your bonds percentage. If you're 25, hold 25% in bonds. If you're 40, hold 40%. Your risk automatically adjusts as you get older. So for a 25-year-old, the full split looks like this. US stocks 55%, international stocks 20%, bonds 25%, 3 funds, 1 portfolio. The entire global economy working for you. Here's the part most investment videos completely skip over, and it's worth understanding because it compounds into a massive difference over time. When you look at ETFs on any platform, you'll notice 2 versions of the same fund. Accumulation funds, ACC, any dividends the fund earns are automatically reinvested back in. You never see the cash, the snowball just keeps rolling. Distribution funds, DIST or INC, dividends get paid out to your account as cash. If you're in your wealth-building years, and you probably are, you want accumulation every time, without exception. Here's why. Compound interest only works at full power when nothing leaks out of the system. Every dividend reinvested buys more shares. Those shares earn more dividends. Those dividends buy more shares. 30 years of that, and the difference is staggering. Distribution funds exist for retirees who need the income. You're not there yet. Keep every penny compounding inside the fund. This one decision, accumulation versus distribution, could silently add tens of thousands to your portfolio over a 30-year timeline. Let's make this real. You need 3 things. 1, a brokerage account. Any low-fee platform works. Trading 212, Vanguard, Fidelity, Interactive Brokers, whatever's available and regulated in your country. The key word is low fee. Every 1% you pay in annual fees is money that should be compounding for you, not flowing to a fund manager. 2, a regular contribution. Even $50 or $100 a month. The amount matters less than the automation. Set up a recurring investment and make it invisible. You don't want this to require willpower every month. You want it to happen whether you think about it or not. 3, a commitment to leave it alone. This is genuinely the hardest part. The market will drop. Your coworker will say, "Did you see what happened today?" You will feel the urge to do something. Do nothing. The people who build real wealth with index investing aren't smarter than the people who don't. They're just more boring. They set it up, they automate it, and they go live their lives. I want to leave you with one image. Picture a snowball sitting at the top of the hill. Small, unremarkable, easy to walk past without noticing. Now, picture that exact same snowball after rolling downhill for 30 years. That's your portfolio. That's compound interest. That's what happens when you stop gambling on individual names and start owning the whole game. The 3-fund portfolio will never give you a story to brag about at a dinner party. It's not exciting. Nobody's making YouTube videos about their boring index fund, except me apparently. But 30 years from now, when your friends are anxious about retirement and you're sitting on a number that genuinely changes what's possible for your family, that quiet, boring strategy will have been the best decision you ever made. The best time to start was 10 years ago. The second best time is right now. One thing before you close this video. Open a brokerage account today. Not tomorrow, not this weekend, today. Even if you deposit the minimum, just open it. Because the moment you become an investor, even a tiny one, the way you think about money shifts almost immediately. And that shift is where everything starts. If this video was useful, hit subscribe.